In the stillness of the desert, where the golden sands stretch endlessly into the horizon, there lies a place of silence, a forgotten temple lost to the embrace of time. It is a place where the wind carries the whispers of forgotten prayers, where the earth cradles secrets too old to be remembered, and where the very stones seem to breathe with an ancient pulse. Under the scorching heat of the sun, the temple rests half buried and crumbled, yet its presence endures as though it is waiting for the moment when its story might once again be heard. The air here feels heavy, thick with the weight of memory. As you walk through the soft, shifting sands, the desert winds seem to carry with them the soft echoes of a distant past. Perhaps it is the voice of the temple itself, calling out from beneath the earth. The temple has not been seen by human eyes for generations. It is hidden, veiled in the silence of the ages, its story all but forgotten. And yet, there are those who still speak of it in hushed tones, as though to do so might disturb something sacred, something that was never meant to be disturbed. Beneath the desert's eternal silence, the temple waits. It is said that the temple was once a grand and holy place, a sanctuary of profound power. Its stone walls, though now weathered and cracked, once stood tall and proud, carved with symbols of deep spiritual significance. Those who built it, long lost to history, knew the secrets of the earth and the stars. They had the knowledge of the ancients, a knowledge that spoke of a divine harmony between man and nature. It is said that when the moon was high and the stars hung like scattered jewels in the vast expanse above, the priests would gather in the temple, their voices rising in ritualistic chants that echoed across the sands. The temple itself was more than just a building, it was a sacred space, a living entity imbued with a profound energy. Each stone, weathered by centuries of sun and wind, holds the memory of those ancient rituals. It is said that the very stones of the temple are marked with symbols that no eye has seen for thousands of years. Symbols that hold the secrets of the cosmos and the earth's hidden forces. Some believe that the temple was built not merely as a place of worship, but as a conduit to something greater, something beyond the mortal realm. A bridge between this world and the divine. Yet, as with all things touched by time, the temple has fallen into ruin. The priests who once walked its hallowed halls have long since vanished, leaving behind only their whispered prayers and their forgotten wisdom. The kingdom they served has crumbled into dust, swallowed by the endless sands of the desert. The temple, once a beacon of light and knowledge, is now but a shadow of its former self, a silent witness to the passage of time. And still the temple endures. The wind sweeps through its hollowed chambers, the very walls that once echoed with sacred chants now only echo the soft sighs of the earth. The stones that were carved with symbols now lie half buried in the sand, their meanings obscured by centuries of neglect. Yet there is a subtle power in these stones, a lingering presence that cannot be easily explained. It is said that, in the quiet of the night, when the desert is still and the moonlight casts its silver glow upon the ruins, the temple comes alive. Its secrets stir in the darkness, like a dream barely remembered. The temple's story is not one of grand battles or conquests, nor of kings and queens who ruled with iron fists. No, the story of this temple is one of fragility, of a civilization that sought to understand the mysteries of the universe, only to be lost to the sands of time. It is a story of divine wrath and mortal weakness, a story of a people who believed they could touch the heavens, only to have their dreams buried beneath the weight of their own hubris. Some say the temple was abandoned after a great catastrophe, a calamity that struck with the fury of the gods. A divine punishment, some whispered, for a people who had forgotten their place in the cosmic order. The priests who had once communed with the stars were said to have vanished, their knowledge lost forever. And with them, the temple's sacred purpose faded into obscurity. What was once a place of awe and reverence became nothing more than a forgotten relic, buried beneath the sands, hidden from the world. But even in its decay, the temple still holds its secrets. The stones, weathered and worn, still carry the imprint of those who once walked here. Each crack, each fracture in the stone, speaks of a history that cannot be erased. The temple's presence lingers, like the fading echoes of a song long forgotten. It is a reminder that some things, some knowledge were never meant to be remembered, that some truths are too sacred, too hidden, to ever be fully understood. As the night deepens and the desert grows quiet, the moonlight touches the ruins of the temple. The stones, once vibrant and alive with meaning, now seem to glow with a soft, ethereal light. In the stillness of the night, the temple whispers its story through the wind, the ancient song of a forgotten people, lost to the sands. The wind carries the scent of the earth, the dust of ages, and the faintest trace of something divine. Perhaps the temple's secrets are meant to remain hidden. perhaps its story was never meant to be fully understood. For in the heart of the desert, where the wind whispers and the sands shift, there are some things that cannot be spoken aloud, some truths that are too sacred to be revealed. The temple in its silence holds these secrets close, like a treasure buried deep beneath the earth. And so, as the desert stretches on, as the moonlight dances over the ruins, we are left with the quiet knowing that some stories are not ours to tell, some truths are not meant to be found. The temple waits, its stones carved with symbols no eye has seen in centuries. Its chambers, once filled with the voices of priests, now echo only with the soft murmur of the wind. And perhaps as we close our eyes and drift into the silence of the night, we too can hear its whispers, soft, faint, and full of mystery. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. The desert is still, and the temple, beneath the moonlight, remains hidden, waiting for those who dare to listen to its ancient song. Beneath the endless waves, where the sun's light barely touches and the deep holds its breath, there lies a city long forgotten, cradled by the vast ocean's embrace. Its walls, once proud and steadfast, have crumbled, overtaken by the gentle yet relentless pull of the tides. Time, that great devourer of all things, has not forgotten this place, but has instead hidden it away beneath layers of saltwater and coral. The city lies silent, veiled by the deep, as if it were a dream whispered only by the ocean itself. It is said that this city once thrived, its streets bustling with life, its temples rising toward the heavens, their spires catching the last rays of the setting sun. A civilization that knew the language of the earth and the stars, its people walking with a quiet reverence for the world around them. But somewhere in the folds of history, a great event occurred, a silence that fell so abruptly that the city vanished from memory as though it had never been. No ancient texts speak of its name, no song remembers its story. It was as if the ocean, in its infinite wisdom, decided that the city should be swallowed whole, forgotten by time and hidden from the gaze of those who would seek it. Whispers tell us that it was not a natural disaster that claimed the city, nor an invading force that raised its walls. Some believe that it was a great silence that descended upon it, a spiritual erasure of sorts, as if the very breath of life had been taken from the people. Perhaps, in their pursuit of knowledge, they uncovered something that was never meant to be found. Something so sacred, so powerful, that it could not remain in the mortal realm. And so, the city sank beneath the waves, its fate sealed by forces greater than human understanding. The people, their voices, their stories, faded into the dark depths of the sea, leaving behind only the faintest echoes of what once was. As we drift deeper into the mystery of this sunken world, we are pulled by the currents into the city's forgotten streets. The ruins rise from the ocean floor like the bones of some great creature, each stone worn smooth by the passing of centuries. What once was a bustling marketplace is now an empty expanse, the only sound the soft murmur of the sea. The temples, though crumbled and broken, still seem to reach toward the surface, their intricate carvings faintly visible beneath layers of coral. The fish glide lazily past what was once a vibrant, sacred space, their scales shimmering in the pale, filtered light that penetrates the water. There is a haunting beauty in the stillness of it all, as if the city is sleeping, waiting for something, or someone, to awaken it from its long slumber. The water, thick with salt and mystery, holds the secrets of the city in its embrace. Each wave that crashes against the ruins seems to carry with it a memory, a fragment of the past that drifts away before it can be fully grasped. The ocean, in its infinite patience, preserves the city not as a monument to human achievement, but as a tomb, a place where time stands still, where the lives of those who once called it home have been submerged beneath the weight of the sea. Yet even in its burial, the city retains a sense of reverence, as though it were never meant to be lost, but rather hidden away for a time when the world was ready to listen. As the currents shift, we are drawn deeper into the heart of the city. Here, beneath the surface of the water, we begin to see the faintest traces of what it once was. A staircase, now covered in algae and barnacles, leads to a grand hall that has long since fallen silent. The walls, though cracked and faded, still bear the remnants of beautiful frescoes, images of celestial beings, of stars, of life and death intertwined. The ancient stone is carved with symbols that speak to the stars above and the earth below, as though the people of the city were seeking to understand the very fabric of the universe. And yet, there is no one here to interpret them, no one to breathe life into these forgotten words. It is said that the city's temples were not just places of worship, but places of great knowledge. The priests, in their devotion, had uncovered truths hidden in the stars and in the earth, truths that bound the two together. But what these truths were and why they were hidden so deep beneath the waves, no one can say. Some believe that the city's fall was not due to any earthly power, but rather a spiritual reckoning, a divine punishment perhaps for a people who sought to know too much too quickly. The gods, in their infinite wisdom, may have seen fit to erase them from the world, to bury their knowledge beneath the water and let it fade into legend. And yet, there is something profound in the city's silence. As we move through the ruins, there is a sense of peace, a strange stillness that seems to transcend the passage of time. The fish, the corals, the water, they all seem to move with a rhythm as if the city's death is not a tragedy, but a natural part of the cycle of life. The city, once a beacon of human ambition, is now a part of the ocean's eternal flow, a place where the past and the present meet, where memory fades into the horizon and is swallowed by the deep. As we rise to the surface, leaving the city beneath the waves, we are left with a sense of quiet reverence. The ocean, with all its mysteries, holds the city in its depths, keeping its secrets close. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this city of forgotten dreams. Perhaps it was always meant to rest in the deep, its story whispered only by the currents and the stars. Some places, some stories, are meant to remain hidden, preserved in the silence of the sea, waiting for the world to be ready to listen. Perhaps some truths, like the city, are too fragile to be remembered. Perhaps the ocean, in its infinite patience, keeps them safe for a time when the world is ready to hear them. And perhaps, in the quiet depths of the sea, the city still waits, its dreams carried on the waves, its memory drifting in the current, a mystery that will never fade. In a forgotten land, where the earth meets the stars in a whispered embrace, there once lived a group of stargazers who sought the secrets of the night sky. Long before the world knew its current shape, these seekers stood beneath the pale glow of the moon, their eyes lifted to the heavens, where the stars hung like diamonds in a velvet sky. It is said that in the stillness of that ancient time, the stargazers gathered in silent reverence, their hearts filled with wonder as they gazed upon the vastness of the universe. The opening scene is one of deep stillness. The moon casts its soft, silver light upon a stone circle, ancient and weathered by the hands of time. The stones, each massive and heavy with the weight of centuries, form a sacred space where the stargazers once stood. They mark the earth, drawing invisible lines between the stars, as if they believed that the secrets of the cosmos could be unlocked, one constellation at a time. The air is thick with the weight of their presence, as if the very ground beneath the stones still holds the imprint of their footsteps. In the quiet of the night, the stones seem to whisper. Perhaps it is the wind, or perhaps it is the voice of the stargazers themselves, calling across the centuries, asking us to listen, to seek what they once sought. What did they uncover, these ancient minds who, without the tools of modern science, reached into the heart of the universe with nothing more than their eyes, their minds, and their sacred stones? What knowledge did they carve into the earth, and why has it been lost to time? The stargazers believed that the heavens held the key to life's greatest mysteries. Beneath the starry sky, they sought answers to questions that had troubled humankind for as long as the earth had turned. They studied the movements of the planets, the constellations, the phases of the moon, and the endless cycles of the stars. In the dark silence of the night, they sought to understand the pulse of the cosmos, the rhythm of the universe, and their place within it. They believed that by charting the heavens they could understand the forces that shaped life on earth, that the stars themselves might offer a glimpse into the divine. The stone circle, bathed in moonlight, is a testament to their devotion. The stones stand like silent sentinels, their ancient carvings worn smooth by the passing of centuries, but still faintly visible if one knows where to look. They are not mere decorations or symbols of ritual, they are the stargazers' maps of the sky, their attempts to understand the very fabric of the universe. The constellations, traced in the stone, speak of a knowledge that goes beyond what is visible to the naked eye. Each constellation was, in their view, a key to a deeper understanding of the cosmos, a thread that connected the stars to the earth, the sacred to the mundane, the eternal to the fleeting. As we journey through the stargazers' maps, each symbol and carving seems to speak of a time long past. The stars, once visible in their full glory, now seem distant, their meanings obscured by the dust of ages. The moon, once a beacon of wisdom, is now but a pale reflection of what it once was. Still, the stargazers' work remains, etched into the stone, waiting for someone to unlock its meaning. The maps are not simply astronomical charts, but spiritual guides, markers of a path that was once followed by those who sought to understand the divine through the stars. But despite their wisdom, the stargazers vanished, their knowledge left behind in cryptic symbols, their sacred work abandoned, as if the very winds of time had swept them away. The The ruins of the stone circle are silent, their secrets locked within the earth, waiting to be uncovered by those who come after. Some say the stargazers found what they were looking for, their search leading them to a profound understanding of the universe. Others believe they were lost, consumed by the very knowledge they sought, their minds overwhelmed by the vastness of the cosmos. As we stand beneath the night sky, the silence is heavy, almost palpable. The stars, distant and cold, seem to speak of something lost, something that once was but is no longer. The question lingers in the air: did the stargazers find what they were searching for? Or was their search in vain, their knowledge lost forever to the depths of time and the stars themselves? The silence of the sky feels as if it holds the answer, but it is an answer that is beyond our reach, a secret hidden in the depths of the cosmos, just beyond our understanding. The night deepens and the moon's glow becomes softer, as if it too is fading into the silence. The stone circle stands, a reminder of a time when the stars were not so distant, when the heavens and the earth were one, and the mysteries of the universe were within reach. The stargazers who once stood in awe beneath the same sky are now but shadows, their knowledge crumbled like the stones around us, their voices lost to the winds of time. Perhaps their search was never meant to be answered. Perhaps some questions are not meant to be understood, some mysteries not meant to be solved. And yet, as we stand in the silence beneath the vast and endless sky, we are left with the sense that the stargazers' journey is not truly over. The stars, though distant, still beckon, and their ancient song calls out to those who are willing to listen. Perhaps the answers they sought are not meant to be found in this lifetime, but in the quiet, sacred spaces of our own hearts, where the stars still hold their secrets. The stones, bathed in the soft light of the moon, whisper their secrets in the silence. The map of the heavens remains, waiting to be read by those who are ready to see. And as we let go of our search, as we drift toward the quiet, peaceful embrace of sleep, we remember that the stargazer's journey was not just about knowledge, it was about the journey itself. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not the one that can be solved, but the one that remains eternally unfolding like the night sky above us. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And so we rest under the watchful gaze of the stars, knowing that the path of the ancient stargazers is still there in the silence, waiting for us to follow it once again. In the fading light of an ancient day, where the sun's last breath caresses the earth with a soft, golden glow, there stands an archway, silent, solemn, and weathered by centuries of time. Its stones, once carved with precision, now cracked and faded, stretch toward the sky like forgotten sentinels, holding the weight of secrets long buried. This archway, marking the entrance to a city now lost to the world, has stood for countless ages, its presence steady and unyielding in the face of time's unrelenting march. The stones cast long shadows over the ruins, as though they are guardians of something hidden, something waiting for a voice to call it forth. It is said that beneath this archway, beneath the very stones that form its sacred frame, lies a mystery, a code that no living soul has yet uncovered. The air around the gate feels heavy, thick with the quiet reverence of the ages, as though the gate itself holds its breath, waiting for someone to approach, to understand the language of the forgotten city. The silence seems to press in, as if the weight of time itself rests upon the stones, their secret locked away, veiled by centuries of dust and decay. The gate, though ancient and crumbling, still stands as a symbol of something greater, something lost to history but not to memory. Its purpose, though obscured, is clear in the subtle precision with which it was built. The stonemasons who created this archway did not simply craft a doorway, they imbued it with meaning, with intention. The gate was a threshold, but it was also something more. A keeper of a code, a silent message left for those who would come after. Whispers tell us that this code was not just a language but a key that unlocked the mysteries of a civilization that once thrived here. Some believe it was a sacred truth, hidden beneath the stones, a divine revelation waiting to be discovered by those worthy of its secrets. But why was it concealed so carefully? What was so precious, so powerful, that it needed to be buried beneath layers of silence and stone? The code, it seems, was never meant to be understood easily. It was buried beneath the weight of time, waiting for a moment when the world was ready to listen. As we venture deeper into the ruins, the stone gates slowly reveal themselves to us. At first, the symbols etched into the stone are indecipherable, their meanings obscured by the passage of years. The carvings, delicate and intricate, seem to pulse with a life of their own, though the stone is cold to the touch. Some of the symbols resemble ancient scripts, others appear to be celestial maps, and still others seem to be abstract, almost dreamlike in their form. Each symbol, each carving, seems like a fragment of a greater whole, pieces of a puzzle that time has scattered across the ruins. The deeper we go into the city, the more the code begins to reveal itself. It is said that the code was not just a written language but a language of the soul, a connection to something greater. The symbols, once seen in isolation, now start to form patterns, lines that connect the ancient texts, forming a hidden language that speaks not just to the mind but to the heart, to the very essence of being. There is a rhythm to the code, a flow that echoes through the stones, through the very air that surrounds us. It is a language of the stars, of the earth, of the divine. Some believe that the stonemasons who carved these symbols were not simply trying to preserve knowledge but were creating a bridge between this world and another, perhaps a world beyond the veil of time. The code, in its cryptic beauty, seems to point toward something beyond human understanding, something sacred and profound. It is said that the code was not meant for just anyone to read. It was a divine message, meant to be unlocked only by those who were spiritually attuned, those who could see beyond the surface of things and into the heart of the universe. As we move deeper into the forgotten city, the silence grows. The ruins are empty, but they are not silent. The wind whispers through the crumbled buildings, and the stones seem to hum with the echoes of a distant time. The code, though buried beneath layers of earth and stone, is still alive, still waiting to be understood. And yet, even as the symbols begin to fall into place, even as the pieces of the puzzle begin to form a clearer picture, there remains something elusive, something hidden just beyond our grasp. The deeper we go, the more we realize that this code may not be just a key to the past but a key to something more, a connection to the divine, to the eternal. The stargazers, the sages, and the priests who once walked these streets believed that the heavens held the answers to all of life's mysteries. Perhaps the code they left behind was not just a record of their knowledge but a map, a guide to something far greater than they could ever have imagined. A door to the sacred, to the unseen, to the divine. But as we stand in the shadow of the stone gates, the question lingers in the air. Why was this code so carefully hidden? What truth does it hold? Was it a truth too powerful to be shared, too sacred to be known by all? And why, after so many centuries, has the city remained silent, its knowledge locked away, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? Perhaps the answer lies not in the code itself, but in the journey to uncover it. Perhaps the code was never meant to be fully understood, but to guide those who seek it toward a deeper understanding of themselves and the universe. It is said that some truths are not meant to be spoken, that some knowledge is too sacred to be shared with all. The silence, the mystery, the fragments of the code, they are part of the journey, part of the sacred process of discovery. To unlock the code may not be to find an answer, but to awaken a deeper connection to the divine, to the eternal rhythm of the universe. As the chapter draws to a close, we are left in the quiet, lingering silence of the stone gates. The code, though still unsolved, still calls to us, as if to say that its secrets are not meant to be fully understood, but to be felt. Perhaps some truths are meant to remain hidden, wrapped in layers of silence and mystery, waiting for those who are ready to listen, to hear the whispers of the past, to feel the pulse of the universe. The gates stand silent, the code waiting beneath the stones. And as the night deepens, we drift into the quiet, knowing that some mysteries are not meant to be solved but experienced. Like a fleeting dream, like a soft breath in the dark, like a truth that only reveals itself when we are ready to see. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. Beneath the earth, far from the reach of light, lies a place untouched by the passage of time. Here, in the hidden depths, where the world above is a distant echo, a library slumbers, its ancient halls sealed away in a labyrinth of winding tunnels and forgotten chambers. It is said that the earth itself guards this sacred space, protecting its secrets, its knowledge, and its stories from the fleeting world above. The library is not merely a place, it is a keeper of ancient wisdom, a sanctuary for scrolls that have not seen the light of day for millennia, their words waiting patiently to be uncovered by those who dare to seek them. The opening scene is one of haunting tranquility, as we descend into the depths, following the narrow passageways carved by hands long since gone. The air is cool and damp, thick with the scent of earth and dust, the very breath of the world below. The silence is profound, broken only by the soft shuffle of our footsteps on the stone floor and the distant echoes of the earth's quiet murmur. Here, in this forgotten underworld, time has forgotten to pass, leaving the library untouched by the hands of centuries. A faint light glimmers in the distance, the warm glow of torchlight reflecting off the ancient stone walls, casting long shadows across the cold floor. As we draw closer, the outline of the library begins to take shape before us. The entrance is marked by a heavy stone archway, carved with symbols whose meaning has long been lost to memory. These symbols are not simply decorative, they are part of the ancient code that holds the library together, a cryptic key to the knowledge stored within. The doors, aged and weathered, open with a creak that feels like the release of a long-held breath. As we step inside, we are met with the quiet rustle of parchment, the sound of ancient scrolls shifting in the still air. The shelves stretch high, laden with scrolls that seem to whisper their secrets in the dim light. Some are rolled tightly, bound in the skin of creatures long forgotten. Others are carefully unfurled, their contents yellowed with age, but still legible, still waiting for the right eyes to unlock their meaning. The scent of dust fills the air, thick and rich, like the fragrance of a memory that refuses to fade. This library, though abandoned by the world above, is alive with the pulse of its past, each scroll a heartbeat of the forgotten knowledge it holds. What knowledge could be contained in a library so carefully concealed, so thoroughly protected by the earth itself? Whispers tell us that the scrolls within these walls contain the wisdom of kingdoms long vanished, philosophies that once shaped entire civilizations, and prophecies that were never fulfilled. It is said that those who created this sanctuary believed that knowledge was a sacred thing, too precious, too powerful to be left to the whims of time or human interference. And so, they buried it deep within the earth where it could not be tainted or lost. The very stones of the labyrinth were shaped to keep this knowledge hidden, to ensure that only those who were truly worthy could find it. As we move through the chambers, the torchlight flickers, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The scrolls are old, their edges frayed, their words faded with time, but the stories they hold are eternal. Each one is a fragment of a world lost to history, a whisper from the past that still carries the weight of its ancient meaning. Some speak of kings and queens who once ruled with wisdom and power, their kingdoms now dust in the wind. Others tell of lost cities, of grand civilizations that rose and fell in the blink of an eye. There are scrolls that speak of philosophies, of the search for truth and meaning, that were born in the hearts of sages who gazed upon the stars and asked questions that are still unanswered. And then there are those scrolls, fragile and delicate, that hold prophecies, words spoken long ago by seers who saw into the future, whose visions may never come to pass. Each scroll is a doorway, a portal to a time and a place that no longer exists, a world that has slipped through the cracks of history, lost to the dust of ages. But though these stories are old, though they have been buried beneath the earth for so long, they are not forgotten. They are still here, waiting to be discovered, waiting for the right moment to be heard. The silence of the library is not a void, it is a reverent stillness, a space where the past lingers, where memory refuses to fade. As we wander through the darkened halls, the feeling of what could have been begins to settle within us. The scrolls speak not just of knowledge but of loss, the loss of civilizations, of people, of ways of life that no longer exist. The air in the library seems heavy with the weight of these untold stories, and we are left to wonder, what might have been if this knowledge had not been hidden, if it had not been lost to the earth's quiet embrace? What truths might we have unlocked, what wisdom might we have gained, had the library been uncovered sooner? But the earth holds its secrets tightly. The deeper we go into the library, the more we sense that the knowledge contained within these walls is not for us, not yet. Perhaps some truths are meant to remain buried, to rest in the silence of the earth until the time is right. Perhaps the knowledge of this forgotten library was never meant to be shared with the world above, perhaps it was meant to be a sanctuary, a place where the past could live on in peace, untouched by the passage of time. As we turn to leave, the heavy door closing softly behind us, the torchlight flickers one last time, casting a brief, golden glow on the scrolls. We pause for a moment, the weight of the library's silence settling around us. The earth has swallowed its secrets once again, and the scrolls are left to rest in the quiet dark, their stories fading into the shadows, waiting for the world to be ready to listen. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this library beneath the earth. Perhaps some knowledge is too sacred, too fragile to be shared with the world. And yet, the feeling lingers, the feeling that there is something in the depths of the earth's embrace that calls to us, a truth waiting to be uncovered, a story waiting to be told. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And so we leave, but the library remains, its secrets tucked away in the silence, beneath the earth's breath, where they will wait for the next traveler, the next seeker of forgotten things. In the quiet heart of a forgotten land, beneath the shadow of time's endless gaze, there once flowed a river that whispered through the hearts of civilizations, its waters weaving through the fabric of life itself. It was a river that carried life and prosperity to all who dwelt near it, its currents a source of sustenance, of vitality, of growth. Yet, as with so many things touched by the passage of ages, this river vanished. Its waters are no longer found in the earth's veins, its banks no longer caressed by the hands of those who once revered it. Now, all that remains of its once splendid course is the silence of the land, the barren earth stretching wide and empty where once it bloomed. Where did the river go? The question lingers in the air like a forgotten melody, a soft echo from the distant past. Some say the river was swallowed by the earth itself, its waters drawn deep into the very bones of the land. Others speak in hushed tones as though the very mention of the river's disappearance holds a secret, an untold truth too dangerous, too sacred to be shared. It is said that some truths are hidden not by time but by the will of the divine, as if the river's course was meant to be erased from memory, never to be found again. The opening image is one of haunting stillness, a once vibrant riverbank now dry and cracked, the earth whispering beneath the touch of our footsteps. The wind blows across the land, stirring the dust, and for a moment, it feels as though the river's memory stirs with it, a fleeting breath in the midst of silence. The place where the river once flowed is now empty, its currents vanished as though they never were, leaving only the remnants of what was, a scar in the landscape, a wound that refuses to heal. The banks are bare, the trees that once thrived beside it now withered, their roots searching for a forgotten source of life. And yet, beneath this emptiness, there is a presence, an awareness that the river is not truly gone. It is said that rivers, like memory, are never entirely lost. They simply slip beneath the surface, hiding their currents where only the earth can know their true path. As we move through the land, tracing the river's course, the silence presses in like a heavy weight. The earth seems to hum with an ancient energy, as though it remembers the flow of waters that once nourished it, the gentle rush of life that now feels like a distant dream. Here, in the quiet of this forsaken land, we begin to uncover the fragments of the river's story, clues hidden in the soft whispers of ancient texts, in the echoes of long-forgotten voices. The river's name is mentioned in passing, but always in a tone that suggests something is missing, something that cannot be said aloud. There are hints, fragments of tales, half-remembered, lost to the winds of time, that speak of a catastrophe, a sudden shifting of the earth itself. Perhaps the river's disappearance was no accident. Perhaps it was swept away by a spiritual reckoning, a divine will that sought to erase its memory. Some believe that the river was a gift, a sacred river imbued with power, and that its disappearance was not a natural event but a sign, an omen of change, of an ancient cycle coming to a close. The civilizations that once flourished along its banks may have known something we do not, something that the river held within its depths, something so profound that it could not be allowed to remain. The river's waters were not just a source of life, they were a link to something greater, something beyond the mortal realm. And so, when the river vanished, it was not simply a loss of water, it was a loss of connection, of understanding, of the divine balance that had once been. As we delve deeper into the myths surrounding the river's disappearance, the layers of meaning unfold slowly, like the delicate petals of a flower, revealing more than we ever expected. In the quiet of these stories, we begin to sense that the river's fate was tied to something far greater than mere geography. There are whispers of a spiritual reckoning, a time when the earth itself shifted, when the very forces that shaped the land could no longer sustain the river's flow. Perhaps it was not a physical force that swallowed the river, but a spiritual one, an act of divine will or perhaps a cosmic necessity that caused the river to vanish. The more we search, the more we uncover, the more we realize that the river's disappearance is not an isolated event but part of a greater tapestry, a tale of the rise and fall of civilizations, of the delicate balance between man and the divine. It is said that all rivers are born with a purpose, and that each one carries within it the potential to shape the world. The river that once flowed here was no exception. It was a force of nature, a living symbol of life's eternal currents, and its disappearance was not just a loss for the land, but for the very soul of the world. And yet, as we walk along its empty path, there is no sense of finality, no clear conclusion. The river's disappearance remains a mystery, a question that echoes through the ages, lingering in the silence of the earth. Some believe that the river's course was never meant to be known. Perhaps it was always meant to disappear, to slip beneath the surface and return to the realm of memory, where it would become a legend, a myth. It is said that some things are meant to remain hidden, that some rivers must be lost, their waters flowing in places where only the earth can touch them. And so, the river remains a mystery, its currents buried beneath the earth's embrace, where they will never be found. As we stand at the edge of this barren land, the silence presses in heavy and profound. The river's memory lingers, a faint whisper in the wind, a breath in the earth. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the river's currents, like the current of time, were always meant to be lost, flowing only in the depths of forgotten memory. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And so, we leave this place, the path of the river now hidden beneath our feet, its waters lost to the sands of time. We walk away, but the river's story lingers, fading slowly into the distance, carried away by the wind, like a dream fading in the morning light. Perhaps it is a story we were never meant to fully understand. Some rivers, it seems, are not meant to be found. Beneath the endless sweep of the desert's horizon, where the earth meets the sky in a quiet embrace, there is a place forgotten by time, a place where the whispers of ancient secrets still murmur through the winds. In a land long lost to the world above, a temple once stood. Its walls, though now veiled by sand, once stretched high toward the heavens, adorned with intricate carvings of celestial bodies, each symbol etched with reverence, as if the very stars themselves were woven into the fabric of the temple's design. This temple was not merely a place of worship. It was a gateway, a bridge between the earth and the cosmos, a sacred space where the ancient priests sought the knowledge of the stars. But the temple is no more. Its grandeur has crumbled, its sacred geometry swallowed by the earth, or perhaps by the ocean's quiet depths. The passage of centuries has hidden it from view, leaving only fragments behind, stones half buried in sand, a lone altar worn smooth by the relentless touch of wind and rain. This altar, once a place of devotion, stands as the only witness to the lost reverence of those who walked here before. It is said that the temple's final moments were lost to time, but its memory persists, like a fading song carried by the wind. What secrets did the priests uncover in their devotion to the stars? Why did this sacred space vanish, and why does it remain hidden, like a secret that the earth refuses to release? The opening image is that of the lone stone altar, its surface polished by the touch of countless winds, its edges softened by centuries of rain and sun. The air is still here, heavy with the weight of forgotten prayers and ancient rites. The altar stands like a sentinel half buried in the sands, a mute witness to the passage of time. What knowledge did it once hold? What was discovered beneath the flickering light of the stars? The wind stirs the sand, a soft, breathless whisper that seems to echo from the past, as though the earth itself remembers the rituals once performed here, the prayers whispered in the shadow of the heavens. As we step closer, the silence of the place grows deeper, and the mystery begins to unfold. The temple was not built for the gods of earth, but for those of the sky. The walls, now crumbled, once told stories of constellations, delicate, star-marked maps of the heavens, where the priests traced the movements of the stars with reverent eyes. The symbols etched into the stones speak of a deep connection to the cosmos, an understanding of the celestial rhythms that govern the cycles of life. These were not the crude, simple images of stars seen from the Earth's surface, but intricate diagrams that suggested a wisdom far beyond the ordinary, far beyond what the people of the land could ever hope to know. There was an advanced knowledge here, one that was intertwined with the very fabric of existence. The priests, it is said, believed that the stars were not merely distant bodies, but living entities, guides, guardians, and messengers of the divine. They sought the secrets of the heavens not only for spiritual enlightenment but for something more, perhaps for the very key to understanding the nature of existence itself. What was it that they sought beneath the glimmering stars? Were they searching for answers to questions long forgotten, or was there something more, an understanding of the cosmos that we, in our time, have lost? As we delve deeper into the temple's mysteries, we begin to uncover clues that suggest the priests were not merely observing the stars. They were attuned to them, their lives intricately bound to the movements of the heavens. The temple was not just a building, but a structure designed with sacred geometry, aligned perfectly with the stars above. It was as though the very stones of the temple had been shaped to reflect the divine order of the universe. Each pillar, each archway, each corner of the temple's design was a reflection of the celestial bodies, a mirror to the stars themselves. The priests, it seems, did not merely worship the stars. They sought to align themselves with the celestial forces, to tap into the ancient knowledge that flowed through the universe, a knowledge that transcended time and space. The deeper we explore, the more we come to realize that this temple was not just a place of prayer or ritual. It was a symbol of an advanced civilization, one that understood the movements of the heavens in ways that modern science can only dream of. The geometry of the temple, its alignment with the stars, suggests a knowledge that went beyond the spiritual realm. Perhaps the priests did not only seek divine guidance. They sought to unlock the very mysteries of the cosmos, to understand the forces that govern the heavens and, by extension, the earth itself. Yet, as we stand before the crumbling remnants of this sacred space, a lingering question rises in the air, like a soft prayer. Why did the temple vanish? The earth has hidden its secrets well, swallowing the temple whole, leaving only fragments behind. Fragments that whisper of a time when the stars were not distant but close, when man walked beneath their gaze as though they were part of him. What happened to the priests who once tended this sacred place? Did they find what they were searching for, or did they too disappear along with the temple, taking their knowledge to the grave? Perhaps the secrets of the stars were too great, too sacred to be shared with the world, and so they were hidden, buried beneath the sands, lost to time. The silence that hangs over the ruins feels like a breath held too long, a sacred pause in the eternal rhythm of the earth. The stars, once so close, now seem distant, beyond our reach, as though they too have forgotten the temple that was built to honor them. Some believe that the knowledge the priests sought was never meant to be found, that it was a divine gift, a spark of understanding, given only to those who could listen to the heavens with a pure heart. Perhaps the priests found what they sought in the stars, but it was not meant to remain on earth. Perhaps the temple's purpose was to serve as a bridge, a connection between the earth and the heavens, and when its time was done, it simply faded away as all things must. As we turn to leave, the altar stands in the silence, a lone sentinel watching over the forgotten temple. The stars above are still, their light distant and cold. Perhaps the knowledge of the temple will remain hidden forever, buried beneath the sands of time. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And so we walk away, leaving behind the forgotten temple, the mysteries it holds and the secrets it keeps. The sand shifts softly around us as though the earth itself is sighing, and the wind carries away the last whispers of a time long past. In the quiet places of the earth, where the mountains rise like forgotten gods, there is a place untouched by the hand of time, a place where the very air seems heavy with secrets. There is a mountain ancient and veiled in mist, whose presence has been felt long before the first footsteps of man. Its peak is often hidden by clouds, as if the mountain itself is shy, reluctant to reveal its secrets to those who would dare to seek them. At its base, a narrow path winds through the dense underbrush, almost imperceptible to those who have not known it. Few have walked this path, fewer still have returned with answers. What lies beneath the shadow of the mountain? What could be concealed within its depths, in a chamber so hidden from the world, so fiercely protected by the earth itself? The question hangs in the air like a whisper, the first breath of a forgotten story. Some say the entrance is well hidden, lost among the tangle of roots and stones, obscured by nature's hand or perhaps by design. It is said that only those with the right knowledge, those who understand the language of the mountain, will find their way to the heart of the earth. But for all the secrets it holds, the mountain is patient. It is indifferent to those who seek to uncover its truths, for the silence of this place speaks louder than any voice could. Perhaps it knows that some things are not meant to be found. The chamber, hidden deep within the mountain's hollow, is said to hold artifacts of great power, relics from a time when the earth itself was closer to the divine. These artifacts are not mere objects, but symbols of a forgotten culture, a civilization that has long since faded into the veil of history. It is whispered that their rituals were as old as the stars, their beliefs woven into the very fabric of the land itself. To those who seek the chamber, the mountain offers no easy answers, only echoes of what once was. As we descend into the heart of the mountain, the air thickens and the world above grows distant. The walls of stone seem to breathe as though they are alive with the weight of memory. With each step we move further into the past, drawn deeper into the embrace of the earth. The silence here is profound, the kind of silence that wraps around the soul, heavy and unyielding, as though time itself has held its breath for centuries. The walls of the chamber are etched with markings, symbols whose meaning has been lost to the world. Some of the carvings are faded, worn smooth by the touch of hands long gone, while others are sharp and clear, as if the stone itself remembers the hands that chiseled them. These markings are not mere decoration but a language written in the language of the earth, its rhythm and flow as ancient as the mountain itself. It is said that the people who built this temple knew the language of stone, the rhythm of the earth, and they used it to carve their beliefs into the very bones of the world. As we draw closer to the heart of the chamber, a strange feeling fills the air. It is as if the chamber itself is not merely a physical space but a threshold, an entrance to something more. The deeper we go, the more we feel the weight of the past, the presence of those who once walked here. Their shadows linger in the corners of our vision, like wisps of smoke, too fleeting to touch but impossible to ignore. The further we go, the more the chamber begins to feel like a dream, a place suspended between the waking world and the realm of the forgotten. Some believe that this chamber was built not just as a place of worship, but as a doorway, a portal to the divine. The artifacts that lie hidden within are said to hold the keys to ancient knowledge, knowledge that the world was never meant to possess. Perhaps they were meant to guide the people of this civilization toward a deeper understanding of the universe, to bridge the gap between the material and the spiritual, to reach into the realms where gods and mortals walk side by side. But as we move deeper into the chamber, a question lingers in our minds. If the knowledge contained here was so great, why was it hidden away? Why was this place lost to the earth, its door sealed for all time? And as we stand in the heart of the chamber, the weight of the silence presses in upon us. The air is thick as though the very mountain itself is holding its breath. The walls seem to hum, but the sound is faint, like a memory echoing in the deepest corners of our minds. We have come so far, yet the chamber remains a mystery, a puzzle with no solution. The artifacts lie dormant, their power waiting, untouched by the hands of time. What knowledge did they hold? What secrets did the priests once discover here in this sacred space, where the earthly and the divine met? And yet, as we begin to turn away, the feeling that something is missing, something that cannot be touched or held, lingers in the air. The mountain, ancient and silent, has revealed only fragments, as though it has shown us just enough to make us yearn for more. But the mountain's secrets are not so easily revealed. Perhaps they are not meant to be found at all, for some chambers, some places, are better left unexplored. As we leave the heart of the mountain behind, the entrance to the chamber closes, the stones shifting as though they are returning to their rightful place. The silence settles back over the land, and the mountain stands as it always has, its secrets buried deep within. The echoes of the chamber fade, and all that remains is the memory of a place that may never be fully understood. Perhaps some things are not meant to be found. Perhaps the mountain knows that some knowledge is too great, too sacred, to be revealed to the world. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. There is a place where the stars seem so close, so near, that you could almost reach out and touch their light. It is a place where the heavens breathe, and the sky is more than just a canopy of distant twinkling lights. Here, high above the earth, there once existed a kingdom, a realm so attuned to the cosmos that it is said they could hear the very pulse of the stars and understand their whispers. This kingdom, though, is no more. Time has folded its story into silence, and now we are left with only echoes, whispers that tell of a celestial reign, lost beneath the weight of the stars themselves. The sky, vast and endless, is the first to reveal its secret. It is said that on clear nights, when the moon is but a sliver and the stars are especially bright, you might catch a glimpse of the place where the kingdom once lay. The heavens are illuminated by 1,000 lights, each star a symbol of their wisdom, each constellation a map of their knowledge. The air itself feels thick with the pulse of ancient power, as though the stars themselves are alive, and in their silent movement, they tell the story of a kingdom now forgotten. What happened to this kingdom? Was it truly a kingdom of the stars, or merely a dream woven into the fabric of time? Some believe it was a land where mortals and celestial beings walked side by side, where the heavens themselves were as close as the air we breathe. The people of this realm were said to be in perfect harmony with the universe, their wisdom as vast as the skies. They understood the stars not only as distant points of light, but as living entities, spirits that guided their path, their every action aligned with the rhythms of the cosmos. It was said that the priests of this kingdom could read the movements of the stars as one might read a sacred text, each alignment a divine message, each eclipse a moment of profound spiritual awakening. But for all the grandeur of this celestial kingdom, there are only fragments of its story left. As we search for answers, we find that the pieces of this forgotten kingdom are scattered, fading into the distance like a dream you try to recall upon waking, only to find it slipping further away with each passing second. It is as though time itself has erased its memory, leaving behind only the faintest traces of its once glorious existence. The ruins of their temples, now long abandoned, seem to whisper a language that we cannot fully understand. What happened to the kingdom of the stars? Did it fall in a great cataclysm, or did it simply fade away, its people becoming as ephemeral as the light of the stars? Some say that the kingdom's connection to the stars was so profound that it was destined to be a part of the heavens themselves. The divine beings who watched over the land, the celestial guardians, may have seen their work completed and withdrawn from the earthly plane, leaving the kingdom to vanish with them. Perhaps the kingdom was never meant to last forever. Perhaps its beauty and wisdom were a fleeting moment in the grand cycle of the cosmos, a brief alignment of forces that could not be sustained. The silence of the stars seems to echo with the unanswered question: did the kingdom fall, or did it simply slip into the folds of time, leaving behind only whispers in the wind? As we delve deeper into the myth of this kingdom, we are confronted with more questions than answers. The records that once told its story have crumbled to dust, their ancient scrolls and tablets long since lost or destroyed. Yet there are those who speak of strange symbols, etched in forgotten corners of the earth, that may hold the key to unlocking the secrets of this lost realm. In the heart of a desolate desert, beneath the sands, some believe that an ancient temple still stands, its walls etched with the stories of a time when the kingdom was at its peak. The temple is said to align with the stars in a way that no other structure on earth does, a testament to the deep connection between the kingdom and the heavens. And yet, the temple remains hidden, obscured by time and nature's relentless embrace. It is said that those who search for it are often led astray, the path becoming more elusive the more they seek. The stars, once their guides, now seem distant and indifferent. But perhaps this is part of the kingdom's great mystery. Perhaps the temple was never meant to be found, at least not by those who seek it with the hands of men. Perhaps the kingdom's greatest secret lies not in its ruins, but in the very nature of its disappearance. The deeper we search, the more we come to realize that the kingdom was not meant to be a place that could be discovered or understood by the mortal mind. It was a realm, a way of being, aligned with the celestial forces, and perhaps it was always meant to fade like a star burning out in the night sky. Some believe that the kingdom was never meant to be found by the living, but by those who walk in the land between waking and sleep, between life and death. Perhaps the echoes of the celestial kingdom are not meant to be understood by the conscious mind, but by the soul. And so, as we stand beneath the stars, listening to the silence, we are left with a lingering sense of wonder, of awe, and of sadness. The kingdom that once danced with the stars has vanished, its story scattered like stardust across the heavens. But even as we search the sky for answers, we find that the kingdom is not truly gone. It is still there, in the constellations, in the patterns of the stars, waiting for those who are ready to listen, to understand. Perhaps, in the quiet corners of our own dreams, we may find the answers that have been hidden all along. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was always meant to exist as a whisper, carried on the wind, moving just beyond our grasp, forever in the silence of the stars. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. Beneath the golden sands of an endless desert, where the wind carries whispers that have not been heard in lifetimes, there lies a kingdom. Its name is lost to the ages, and its existence is but a shadow in the minds of those who speak of it. For centuries, no human has set eyes upon it, and yet its presence lingers, like a faint memory, a half-forgotten dream. The question hangs in the air like the heat of the desert sun. Why has this kingdom remained hidden for so long? The desert, ancient and eternal, holds its secrets close. In the shifting dunes, where silence reigns and time seems to stand still, the ruins of this lost kingdom are half buried in the sand. The stones of the city, weathered by countless years of sun and wind, whisper of a civilization long forgotten. There are temples still standing, though their once majestic columns now lean with age, and walls adorned with faded carvings that tell of a time when this land thrived. But even these remnants seem reluctant to be found, as though the very earth wishes to keep its mysteries concealed. Somewhere deep within the heart of the desert, beneath layers of sand and dust, the kingdom waits. It is said that the very ground here is sacred, that the earth and the stars once spoke to one another in perfect harmony. The kingdom was said to be a place where the heavens and the earth were bound together, a realm where wisdom flowed as freely as the winds that shaped the dunes. It was a land of unparalleled beauty, where the sun rose and set in a symphony of colors, where the stars at night spoke in patterns known only to those who lived here. In the ancient myths, the kingdom is described as a place where the people were wise beyond measure, their knowledge of the stars, of the earth, and of the forces that governed life, unmatched by any other civilization. It is said that the priests and sages of the kingdom could read the movements of the stars as if they were an open book, that the sands themselves carried secrets and messages from the divine. It was a kingdom that flourished in harmony, its people attuned to the rhythms of the universe, their lives guided by the celestial patterns above them. But as with all great civilizations, the kingdom's story is not one of eternal glory. The desert holds many such tales of grandeur, now lost to the wind. The kingdom vanished without a trace. It was not destroyed in battle, nor was it conquered by an enemy, it simply faded. It is said that one day the people of the kingdom simply ceased to be. There was no grand disaster, no cataclysmic event to mark its end. Instead, it disappeared, swallowed by time itself, as though the earth had decided that its story was no longer meant to be told. Why then did it vanish? Why has the desert, in its infinite stillness, refused to yield its secrets? Some believe that the kingdom's disappearance was not a tragedy, but rather an intentional retreat. Perhaps the people of this land, in their wisdom, understood that their time on earth had passed, and so they chose to withdraw, leaving only their echoes behind. Perhaps they ascended to the stars, leaving their earthly home to become one with the heavens, their city swallowed by the sands as a final act of transcendence. Some speak of a great spiritual awakening that took place in the kingdom, a moment when its people realized that their purpose on earth had been fulfilled, and that their destiny lay beyond the physical realm. The myths surrounding the kingdom are filled with mystery, and yet they offer no clear answers. The more one searches for the truth, the more elusive it becomes. The ruins of the kingdom, now crumbled and half-buried, speak in riddles, carvings on stone that no longer make sense, inscriptions that fade before your eyes as if unwilling to be understood. The desert, too, seems to play a part in this mystery. Its winds sweep the sand over the ruins, obscuring them from view, as if it wishes to protect the kingdom from the prying eyes of those who seek it. The desert is a keeper of secrets, a guardian of truths that are not meant to be uncovered. As we walk through the shifting dunes, the weight of the silence presses in around us. The wind carries the scent of the earth and the dust, and yet there is a sense that something more is buried beneath the surface. A memory, a longing, a story waiting to be told. It is said that the desert knows the truth, that it remembers the kingdom and its people. But the desert does not speak easily, and its stories are woven into the fabric of time itself, fading with each passing day. Perhaps, in the quiet solitude of the night, when the stars are bright and the moon hangs low in the sky, the desert may reveal its secrets, but only to those who are ready to listen. And so, we find ourselves standing at the edge of this forgotten kingdom, gazing into the vast expanse of the desert, where the past and the present seem to blur. The ruins lie hidden beneath the sand, waiting for the right moment to be discovered, or perhaps waiting to remain concealed forever. The air is heavy with the weight of untold stories, and the silence is thick with the sense that some truths are better left untouched. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps this kingdom, this place of wisdom and beauty, was always meant to remain a secret, veiled by the desert, its story locked away in the silence of the earth. Perhaps the sands themselves have kept it hidden, not out of malice but out of reverence, protecting a story too sacred to be told. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And perhaps for now this kingdom will remain buried beneath the veil of the forgotten, its secrets held in the heart of the desert, waiting for the moment when the earth itself will decide that its story is ready to be told once more.